Hey, everybody, welcome to a special edition of the 716 Sports Podcast, where today we are going to talk to you about the Buffalo Bills schedule, which is going to be coming out on May the 14th. The NFL has turned this into an event. So we're going to predict where we think the games are going to go, how we think the schedule is going to look, what games we think might be prime time, and then ultimately give you just a tentative kind of win-loss as well, where we think that those are going to kind of end up. And then we will do a official schedule prediction kind of podcast for you after the May 14th release. So with that, I'm Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill, Mr. T. Reese, and our special guest, Mr. Paulie B. And we're going to break it all down for you. As always, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for all the subs. We're getting close to 100, and when we do, we're going to do that special giveaway, as we mentioned. We'll get some more details on that as we get through our next couple of podcasts. Thank you very much. So, guys, with that, we've got officially for the schedule, we have got Miami, New England, the Jets at home and away, obviously, but the out of division home games are going to be Baltimore, Cincinnati, New Orleans, the Bucks, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. And then the away games out of division will be the Steelers, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Texans. So let's go around just kind of immediately. Give your initial thoughts on like how you feel about the schedule, sort of overall, like your overall outlook on the on what the season's going to look like, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
All right.
You first, Reese.
Okay. Are we going to go week one? Or are we going to try and just kind of figure it out?
Let's just like give me your overall like I don't want to say record, but let's just say overall feelings about like how the schedule looks. Like, do you think hard? Do you think easy? Like, just let's kind of talk about it. We'll kind of devolve it from there, I guess.
I mean, from the slate of teams we got to play this year, I don't think it's that hard of a schedule, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you got the NFC South, which I mean, there's really no dominant team in that division. I mean, that team's hit or miss depending on who plays who. We could pretty much probably beat everybody in that South division. The only games that are questionable are just our major rivals in the AFC again. You've got Baltimore, you got the Bengals, Kansas City. We tend to beat Kansas City during the season. I don't know what the deal is with the playoffs come. Tough game I think is going to be is probably obviously that Philly game is the hardest game on our schedule. Outside of that, I mean, every other game to me is a winnable game.
I mean, I doubt they're going to win every game. We're never quite that lucky. But I agree. I think the Philly game is probably the toughest game. And I just don't think they can overlook like the Buccaneers. They usually put out a pretty good team, even coming from that garbage division. But before we go any further, I'll let Paulie go.
Well, first of all, schedule release is probably one of my favorite times of year. Like even before it was a thing, like just to see the schedule in the newspaper, just posted in the newspaper, just I used to cut it out, put it on my whiteboard and just study that schedule for months, man. And that was back in the 90s, but uh I love the event that it's become. I love the gradual release. I love the rumors, the predictions, all of it. Love all of it. I can't wait for the season. It could be, well, to divulge a little bit, to go off on a tangent a little bit. This could be the last season I could have. I might have season tickets, so it's a very very special season for me.
And Paulie, good job showing your age.
Yeah.
So, like, just immediately, guys, give me your first reactions of the schedule, right? Like, I know last year we started with Arizona. We typically don't start with a division game, right? Like, it's probably going to be one of those weird, assuming, we'll just say for the home opener, right? Like, kind of just looking at it. I mean, my immediate gut reaction for the home opener is probably not going to be one of these like immediate marquee games because I would doubt that we're going to get like that first Thursday game, right? Because we weren't, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl. That's going to be, well, they do it on, what is they do it on Wednesday now, right? They'll probably be like, the Eagles and somebody else in that game or the Chiefs and somebody else in that game. Um, but I mean, do you feel like it's going to be like a, Bills, I don't know,
So
Bills Bucks, Bills, Saints in that home opener? Like, what do you
I'm
think?
going with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints as the home opener.
I think it'll be the Saints.
Bigger
I think
question.
that, and I think it'll be Sunday 1 o'clock.
The bigger question is the first game going to be a home game or an away game to start the season?
Oh, I just meant like, what do you think the home opener is going
No,
to
no,
be?
curious. What do you think?
No, I think the home opener will be the Saints game. I think that's what we're going to get. I wouldn't be surprised if our first game of the season.
I think Carolina.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Carolina's another option. But
I
the thing with
I,
definitely
Carolina,
I
think,
honestly
you
have a
talking about
feeling that
the first game, Sean?
I
yeah,
think that most of the home games this year will be Sunday 1 o'clock, Sunday 4 o'clock games. I don't think there's going to be a ton of home games that are nationally televised. I think there's only going to be maybe one or two
I
home
agree.
games. I think the rest of the the night and primetime games will be away. Um, and I think that's specifically and I know they've said before that they don't really care about closing stadiums as much as they do about opening stadiums. I think in 26 we're gonna have a ton of night home games.
yeah.
Um, because the NFL really likes to showcase their new stadiums. I think that they're going to try to keep it on a national level. They're going to keep the last season at this Highmark Stadium. I think they're going to keep those. They're going to just kind of keep it down a little bit, and I think it'll be the hoopla won't be until the playoffs if we once if we make it.
I agree with that. I think they're going to, like you said, the NFL 100% loves to show off their new toys, and they will to hold off till next year for any of the major things.
Well, if you look at the schedule, though, I mean, we got a favorable schedule because of our home games this year.
Yeah,
Look, this is the first time that we've had to play. Listen to this: Ravens at home, Bengals at home, KC at home,
yeah.
Philly at home. Those are going to
I
be
think
three of those. At least three of those are going to be primetime games.
honestly, and that's one of my predictions. Is I think uh, we're going to end up getting the home game on Christmas Day or Christmas night, and that'll be um, Philly. I think it'll be against Philly. That'll be the Christmas Day or night
That's
game.
a huge game. Like that's a huge game for them.
I
So
I think not to cut you off. I think it's going to be Baltimore.
that would be
For
big.
Christmas,
I mean, Baltimore, it was Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and then Kansas City and
Yeah,
Houston.
Houston on the Christmas games last year, right? That
yeah,
now,
and then they played the other teams the week after or the week before.
well, it's good. Yeah, Kansas City got that like stupid because they kind of had it locked up after they won that Christmas game. So then they ended up getting like, what was it, like 24 days before their starters like had to play a game because they sat them the
Yeah,
last week of the season, which would be
yep.
awesome if the Bills could get something like that as well. I mean, I don't know if the Bills are going to get the one seed. Like, I kind of doubt it, but I mean, it would be pretty awesome, right? Like to get enough time to like rest most of your starters and, go through, to get to that wild card game, assuming the Bills get the 2 or the 3 seed, right? I mean, at a minimum, the Bills should get the 3 seed because that AFC South winner will probably not, be in and around a
Matter.
10 win, I would
Can
imagine.
I ask?
Right.
Can I ask a favor? Can somebody pull up Kansas City's opponents? Can we look at who they got this year? What type
Yeah.
of schedule they got?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
But while you're
Let's
pulling that up, I just want to say, I mean, we also don't forget we're going to have 9 home games this year.
That's
So
true. That's true.
if you look at our road teams, they're all bad teams. I mean, outside of maybe Houston, everybody else are bad teams.
And
So
every one of them is going to be at home because we've already we're not due for an international game yet. So they're not. I don't think they're going to steal that one game like they did the last time we had 9 home games. Um, I think we're going to get all 9 home games here.
you don't
Nope.
think they're going to want to showcase a team like the Bills internationally?
Yes, I do, but I think it'll be an away game.
It has to be because I mean, they're not going to put any of those marquee game teams we play against internationally.
Yeah.
They're just not going to do that.
So
And
Kansas City,
they're going to want all of their networks to cover the Bills at home.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City
So
actually is quite a tough one.
we're going to get our CBS and Fox, and then we're probably going to have a streaming game in there. with Netflix or Hulu or whoever is doing them this year.
And the Amazon Thursday game.
Yeah.
So Kansas City has pretty tough schedule just looking at it like immediately, right? So their division, Denver, Raiders, Chargers at home and away, but then they get Baltimore at home, Detroit at home, Houston at home, Colts at home, Eagles at home, Washington at home.
Kansas
Like
City
that's
and Detroit just gave me a little feeling. I want to see that game.
yeah, that's no cupcake thing. And then their away games are division. Their away games are kind of a joke other than us. I mean, they've got us, but then they've got Dallas, Jacksonville, the Giants, and the Titans. So like most of their away games are kind of a joke.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like us. I mean, it's almost like they laid out this season for us to have to play Kansas City again in a playoff game, like lining it up. So
yeah,
it got because the way you look at it right now is their schedule. And you're right, Mike. I mean, they could potentially lose more games than we'll probably lose. I firmly believe that. I don't think Washington or Kansas City is going to be a number one seed this year. I just
I'm
don't
very
think.
interested in seeing them play Detroit. I think that's going to be a fascinating game.
Yeah,
I've been saying I think this is the fall off year for Kansas City. I think this is the year
that Kansas City Detroit game will for sure be a Sunday nighter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, as long as we got to hope Detroit's not as injured as they were last year.
Yeah, you're right about that. But
we might see that one early in the season.
Yeah,
I think the Chargers beat them once this year. The Raiders usually put them on the ropes at the end of every game they play against them. Denver potentially could beat them once. And these are their home games. I mean, it's possible they can lose some of those home games. Commanders could probably beat them. Philly's for sure going to probably beat them again. I mean, potentially. I mean, they're not going to be the number one seed in my opinion.
You guys laughed at me when I said that in the during the draft video, but I think that this is the year that Kansas City starts to fall.
Yeah, but the only reason I said that, Sean, was to push back is because we say it every year.
No, I know. I agree.
We did the same thing with the Patriots starting to drought, though. Every year. Oh, the Patriots are going down this year. The Patriots are going down. They had that one season where Brady went down in the fourth game. And other than that, every season was this is a year the Patriots are going down. And you're going to hear a lot of that even nationally.
I think their schedule sort of agrees with that, though.
I'm not betting against Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes ever fucking again.
Yep.
I mean, I won't hold my breath. I won't hold my breath, but
yeah, that's what the argument I had the last time was. I was trying to tell Sean, like, listen, I refuse to count them out. I say potentially they can lose these games, but I mean, it has yet to be proven that someone can keep them out of getting to the Super Bowl.
They were losing weird games last year too. They were just, or they were just winning them close.
Yep.
So I get what you're saying, Sean, but at the same time, I'm never gonna know.
So normally I would say that their luck would run out, but after the way that poker game went yesterday, I don't know that anybody's luck will ever run out.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is interesting, but like kind of just my immediate thoughts, like looking at this schedule, like just the home games, right? So Miami win, right? Patriots win, Jets win. Baltimore's going to be tough. I mean, they kicked our faces in, last year when we played them. So I'm not about to say they're just going to beat Baltimore, even if it's at home. Cincinnati at home, that's interesting too. We have no idea what we're going to get out of Cincinnati. So, I'm tentative with that one. But Saints win, Bucks win. We usually play the Chiefs very well at home during the regular season. So that's probably a win there. That Eagles game is tough. But I mean, just immediately there, like I've got 5, maybe 6 wins. Go ahead.
Even those teams that you're saying they're going to be tough for us, at least we don't automatically assume a loss anymore, though.
No, you're right.
And we could beat every single one of these teams. The only team that we cannot that can beat us is ourselves. The only team that can really beat the Bills on paper is the Bills.
And I think Kansas City beats us every time. So we end up beating ourselves in the end.
So I agree with you, but
except for Philly,
the Eagles have a better roster than us. Like
I think
True.
that's not debatable. Baltimore probably has a better roster than us too. I would say the quarterbacks are equal, but Baltimore has a way better defense than us by a mile, right? So I would still think at home we'd probably be a favorite in both of those games, or it would be very close, especially the Philly game. But then, like looking at these away games, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like the division games, will be easily be a favorite in all three of those away games. We should beat the Steelers. We should beat Atlanta. We should actually, like looking at our away games, we should probably win every single one of them.
That's how I feel. Yep.
You know what I mean? So like if you take one loss in the away games and say you lose to Baltimore and the Eagles, you're 14-3. I mean, I'd sign up for that right now. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh yeah.
mean? I would, I
that
like,
wins the division.
yeah, that might get you the one seed.
But
This
the
this
Bills
year,
always lose a game to a team like the Saints, who shouldn't even be out in the same field with them. Every year they have that one or two.
Yeah, look at
I'm
Houston
thinking of
last year,
Jacksonville 3 years ago where we lost 9-6. That should not have happened.
or Houston last
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah,
yeah, that Houston game, my
like
God, that pissed me off.
they always have that one or two games a season. That what are you doing? Why are we here?
But then that game gets substituted by us like kind of dominating one of the top teams from the playoffs. You
Yeah,
know, like how we
the
did
Miami,
it.
like the first Miami game last year.
Detroit last year.
Yeah, Detroit. I mean, even LA in the game that we lost, you had Josh just out of his mind that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we just came out with the L at the end. Um, I love those games, man. I can't. I live for those games. I don't like the blowouts
But
as much.
big story ones.
Well, I love the
Yeah,
blowout where it's a team we should be blowing out. I mean, that's
right, true,
you
true.
know. But if it's not a team, if it's a team we struggle against a team, like I said, if you were to pick a team, if there was a team on our schedule this year that you think is going to be a surprise team, we just kind of fumble a little bit in it, maybe possibly lose, or even just struggle to win the game, who would it be?
I think
The
Tampa.
Patriots.
Mine's is the Bucks.
I think Tampa.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like of all of the looking at all of those home games, I think the one that's gonna surprise us is gonna be that Bucks game because you know what? We're probably gonna go into that game as a 6 or 7 point favorite, and we could very well lose. You know,
To interject
that's
though, I can see where Paulie's coming from too, especially with all the changes made to New England. I could see that theoretically being one of the games too that surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Vrabel has always seemed that think about when Vrabel was with Tennessee and how he gave us such headaches during during his reign there. Um,
But all that had to do with the fact we couldn't stop the run, and he knows that. And he would just pound us with the ball over and over until we just.
Well, when you have Derrick Henry, no shit.
Yeah, but I mean, now he's got a young team this year, a team that he's going to start with from scratch. He didn't have that in Tennessee.
but they're going to be plucky. They're going to be plucky. I'm telling you, they may hand us a loss. They may hand us a division loss. They're honestly, I think they're the only ones in the way of us sweeping the division.
Yeah, Miami is such a joke.
I'm not scared of Miami at all.
well,
The only thing that scares me about the Miami game is it might be an early game, early in the season game, and they may fuck us, put it up at the 1 o'clock game, so we have to deal with the sun.
Well,
And now kill it.
the history of the schedule for the last maybe 8 seasons has been
Yeah, they alternate.
games on the first and beginning of the first quarter of the season, maybe the first almost to the half, and then you play all the rest of your division games in the end of the season. So, yeah, I mean, we're probably going to play Miami early for sure. It'll probably be a row. It'll probably be like Miami's and the Jets, and then we'll play like I don't know, the Bucks, and then we'll come back and we'll have to play the Patriots.
I think they play. I think they're going to play Miami here first this year.
They should, but at the same time, they could play them like Miami, somebody else than Miami. We could have like almost home at home with them too,
Mm-hmm.
and we may finish out one of the teams early on in the season. And that's the only thing that I think is going to prevent us from sweeping them is the away game. If they have that away game during the day,
Yeah,
early in the season.
yeah, let's see it. Yeah, because I remember a couple of years ago with that Heat game where like we lost everybody because it was like a
Like
1,000 degree.
everyone was
And I felt
dehydrated. Everyone was like just dying.
Mhm.
And like like we just ran out of juice, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little technical difficulty there, but yeah, I mean, everybody's got valid points in my opinion. I mean, this can go either way, but I think we all can agree that the away games we should almost go undefeated on the road. I'm being honest with you, almost undefeated. Like you said, the only one I would say is possibly the Patriots at home. Might be a tough one, but everybody else, there's no way we should lose to these teams.
Division
Where
games
did
can be weird sometimes, though.
remind me, where did you guys put the Bills at in your reverse AFC ranks?
Two, I think, right?
Two,
Two.
just
Who was
because of
number one?
Kansas City. Just because of Kansas City.
I disagree with
Yeah,
that, but
and the
I mean,
fact that T is
I,
like,
I, I did.
Where's yours, Paulie?
Yeah, you know
what?
what? Polly, I disagreed with it too. I thought I actually put
Okay.
Kansas City at 3, and these guys argued them up to 1. So
I put Kansas City at 2 myself. T convinced us to put him at 1
Just
because
because
of his
we do it every year. We do it
yeah.
every year.
I think honestly, I think they're going to have a problem with San Diego this year.
Oh yeah,
That's what I said.
yeah. But who else in their division? They're going to split with them.
You know, Denver might. I mean, do we saw the improvement from Denver last year?
I mean, they went
Yeah.
6-0. They went 6-0 in their division last year.
No, they
Six and
didn't.
zero.
And
Oh no, 5-1 because they went 6-0 because they sat everybody that last game of the season. They went
Mhm.
5-1 in their division. If they would have played their starters, they would have beat Denver. So they basically went 6-0 in their division.
Would they have though? I mean, they barely beat Denver the first game.
If the game mattered, if
yeah,
the game mattered and they
you
played
know,
their starters, they would have beat them.
and
And
barely doesn't
probably,
really count now, does it?
Nope. You win in the end.
Yeah.
So what
I
are we
think
gonna do? Are we gonna go through each game here and who think what it's gonna end up like?
sure. So I just we'll just go through them one by one. So Bills at home versus Miami. I think this doesn't matter regardless of where this is on the schedule. I think that we kill them at home. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be like a blowout, but I think we comfortably cover whatever the spread is in that game. It'll probably be between 4 and 7 points.
I mean, depending on when in the season it is, I mean, it could end up being a blowout. Like if it's later season, I could see them curb stomping them. But um, division games are always weird for me. I have a hard time saying that it's going to be a blowout ever. But I think that it will. I can agree with you. It'll cover the spread and definitely a Bills win, home or away.
Tua playing this year?
As of right now, yes.
Yeah.
They're stuck, man. They're stuck. I mean, there's nothing they can
Matt,
do.
I mean, Matt Milano likes eating him.
Yeah.
See, okay. We can go into the Matt Milano discussion because I know you weren't on that one. Were you with us, Paulie, when we were talking about? Oh no, that's
You
when
would
we were
not.
talking about the. Me and Mike were talking about the last NFL podcast we did, talking about possible cuts or trades for the Bills roster this year.
I know he's up there. I know he's up there in the discussions for that.
Yeah, where do you stand with the Milano situation? I mean, don't forget now he's restructured his contract. It's only a 1 year deal now. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
Should they keep him?
I mean, is the possibility that he stays on this roster? Is the possibility that he can get cut? Do you think that this is a transitional year for the Bills on defense, where you won't have Milano out as much? And you can use his injuries as a reason not to have him on the field as much.
I think it's a put up or shut up year for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's kind of in the Von Miller situation from last year.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, where they may pitch count him, and kind of preserve him early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
If he makes, honestly, if he makes the team, but if he die, I think he will. I don't think they would have restructured him and then just to cut him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just cut him then? I know, they save more money if they cut him after a certain date, but I think you got to keep him.
I think that I think
just
he
from the
makes.
locker room too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I made it pretty clear that I'm really concerned about the injuries. I mean, dude played 4 games over the last 2 seasons. I'm like super concerned about that. So, I mean,
Barring
Reese made a good point that they put him on a 1 year kind of prove it deal, and I frankly love 1 year prove it deals for a lot of these players. Where it's kind of like we'll pay you if you can like live up to your shit, right? And it's going to end up being the same thing for James Cook, I think, as well, where it's kind of like dude's on the last year of his deal. And I was really concerned initially where I was like, oh, he's going to play like crap, right? Because he's going to, this all this bullshit with his contract situation. But now that one of you guys had convinced me, like, no, because he's not going to get paid if he wants to go somewhere else and he plays like garbage, right? So I'm sure he'll play great because he's going to want to get paid and not like decrease his value even with all the nonsense going on with everybody in his ear with wanting him to get paid. But so yeah, I love that. And that's the one thing about Milano that I think will like hopefully help keep him playing
if
this
I'm
way.
Matt Milano, I come in with something to prove. I mean, yes, I've only played 4 games over the last 2 seasons, and it almost seems like the team has lost faith in me. And I come in wanting to prove a point and prove the Bills wrong for doing that. But it all hinges on whether or not he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and then it's not even so much that we lost faith in him. It's the fact that he can't prove that he can stay on the field. That's it. I mean, it has nothing to do with his play when he's in the games, actually. It's just the fact that you can't count on him to be there for an entire season. And the 1 year deal is a prove it year. I do agree with you, Paulie. They're going to probably put him on a pitch count. Definitely do the Von Miller thing. But I mean, the problem with him, sometimes he can't make it out of training camp. I mean, he can't. He literally came back from practice in one practice and blew out his bicep in that one practice.
You know,
A tackling dummy.
yep. I mean, that's the thing. It's just weird things that are happening to them. But I think, you know, he's had enough time to return to form. Let's put it that way. There's been a long enough absence where I think you should be able to see him come in and kind of hit the ground running a little bit, because it has been so long, and I'm sure he's working his ass off to get back into you know at least preseason shape as we speak.
Okay, so we kind of are all in agreement then that the Bills sweep Miami kind of in both home and away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be much of a problem.
I
Although I
think
do, and unfortunately, I think it's this as far as the Dolphins are concerned. This is a prove it year for him too, Mike McDaniel.
oh yeah,
And I
he could be
really
on the hot
love
seat for
him.
sure.
I really love him as a coach, honestly, and I hate to say it because it's the Dolphins, but I love his attitude, demeanor, and I really do love how he's just such he studies the game, or he studied the game so well, and that he knows his shit.
Well, he's a coordinator. That's why he's not a head coach. He's a coordinator.
I know.
That's where he should be.
The other
I love
question
the
I have
sound
for you
bites though.
guys is, are the Bills again this year going to be the team that starts Tua's concussion problems like they have like the last
Yeah.
3 years?
Right.
You think
That's
the
what I
Bills are
said.
the team that does
Milano
it?
was one of them.
Yep.
So the Bills sweep the Dolphins. I think they split with the Patriots, depending on where the games are in the season. If like it's one of the last games of the season, that might be a different story. And if like the Bills don't need it, but if say the games are in and around the middle of the season or at the beginning of the season, I think the Bills split with the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, you would say they go. Well, we're at 3-1 right now with the Bills. Right now, between those two teams, obviously counting both home and away games. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that can happen. I mean, would I be surprised? No, but would I be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised if we sweep them. So it can go either way for me.
We
I
always
think
usually get that wonky game at the end that doesn't mean anything with them usually,
Last game,
and that's what happened last year. We split with them last year, so it looks like we split. But come on,
I
we
think
weren't playing
that
anybody.
I think unless they do that again where they lose at the end of the year because it doesn't matter, I think the Bills sweep the Patriots this year.
So what is our consensus? Are we going to go with? So are we going to say everyone says they're going to split except for Sean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they're going to split with the Patriots.
yeah, they're the only ones. That's the only team that's standing in the way of us sweeping the division.
Yeah. So then getting to the next team, then I think the Bills sweep the Jets. I think the Jets are bad. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year.
Yep.
And I don't care how much they allegedly made improvements to their roster. I think the Jets are terrible. I don't know, like
So
who. I don't think Justin Fields is that big of an improvement over Aaron Rodgers. I really don't. And I think the Jets are going to be like just going for the bus like in like week 11. Which is, I
so
don't
this is
think I'm,
where you're gonna
Yeah,
laugh at me. You're
I
gonna
think they're
laugh at me.
tanking. Honestly, I think they're tanking.
yeah. I mean, they should because the quarterback crop next year is so much better. And the Jets, like Justin Fields is not the future like of the New York Jets, right? So like you want to get one of those really good quarterbacks in next year's draft. The Jets are going to be at the top of the draft order next year. 1,000%.
Well,
I
don't forget
think
they have Aaron Glenn now as the head coach. So there's going to be a big turnover with the coaching staff going into this season, and they have no quarterback. The defense is still relatively there intact. Didn't they let DJ Reader or who's the cornerback? Didn't they let him go? Not not Sauce Gardner. The other was a Reader.
That sounds right.
It was the other corner. I think they let him go. I don't remember if he's still on the roster or not. I have to look that up, but they haven't made any drastic improvements to that team. I mean, and they haven't really done much of free agency either. So I think you're right. I think they realize they got to tank this year in order to improve that team.
you're gonna laugh at me, but I think this is the one the Bills split. I think that they lose to the Jets by a field goal in one of the games.
What basis do you have for that?
I think it's going to be one of those games where the Bills' offense has an off game. The
Home
Jets
or away?
defense. What's up?
Home or away?
I think it's going to be the away game. And I think they're going to have an off game. I think the Jets defense is going to hold up against them, and I think they're going to end up losing by a field goal. I think this is and it's I think it's a slim possibility, but I think this is the one.
I disagree
No,
completely.
I disagree
Josh
completely.
Allen loves playing in New Jersey because he loves making that statement against
The
the
Bills,
quote New York teams.
Yeah,
No,
the Bills always
I
have at
completely
least
agree with
one
that.
off game a year, and I think this is
that's
it.
fine. It'll be against the Patriots, not the Jets. We're sweeping them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Jets really don't have any fight. I mean, again, they're having a new coach, so that defense is going to be ran differently than it was previous years.
Like I
So
said, it's a field
And
goal to lose by.
they did figure it out too. Like that last once the Bills got their crap together a little bit, they did figure it out against the Jets as well because that second Rodgers game, the Bills lit them up. Like it was a mess. So I think I disagree with you too, Sean. All right, so Baltimore at home.
loss.
Win.
Wally?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say tie.
I hate you.
Nah, buddy, you got to pick one or the other. One or the
Oh,
other.
it could happen. It could
It's not
happen.
going to be a tie.
It could happen.
It's not going to be a tie. I think that's going to be if we're going to have an early loss. We play Baltimore early. We're probably going to
When
be
was
all.
the Bills' last tie?
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a question for Dr. Google.
You're probably talking about like in the early 70s, probably.
80s.
No,
No,
I'm
I
gonna
think it was
say
in the 80s. I think it was during a strike year. One of the strike years they had a tie, I think.
like late '80s, early '90s, something like that.
It was definitely not early 90s. It wasn't during the Jim Kelly era.
No,
No, it was before that.
no.
It might have been 87, 86. No, 87 or 83. While Mike is looking that up.
Nothing. The internet's not finding anything.
It's been a long time. I don't think I ever witnessed one, to be honest.
There's not. Yeah, there's. I don't see.
The Bills never had a tie?
Hold on, I got it right here. They got quite a few.
Okay.
They tied in 72 against Detroit. They tied in 70 against Baltimore. 14-14 against Miami in 68, 17-17 in 66, 20-20 in 65,
72-27
against Kansas City in 63, 28-28 against the Patriots in 62, and 38-38 against Denver in the 60s. So most of them were the 60s and early 70s.
So nothing in the last 50 years. They've not had a tie in the last
1972 was the last tie?
Yep.
Okay, I'm picking tie.
52.
It's going to happen.
Paulie's fired. He's just fired. I'm gonna.
It's going to happen. Home
I'm
game.
gonna.
It's going to be the last home game. It's going to be. Wait. It's going to be the last home game, regular season home game at Highmark, and it's going to end in a tie.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go with win on the Baltimore game because I think the Bills are gonna want to make a statement against them because of all the talk that there was last year with Baltimore and Lamar and how like everyone everywhere in the media pointed to that game why Josh Allen shouldn't have been the MVP because they got spanked by Baltimore. So I think the Bills, especially at home, I think the Bills are going to want to make a statement because the Bills lost to them in Baltimore last year. So I think the Bills are going to make a statement and I think the Bills are going to win that game.
But here's the fact I want to give. So usually it works is they beat us during the season, we beat them in the playoffs. So is there a possibility it can go in reverse this year?
It's reverse Kansas City.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, maybe we'll see. But I'm going to go the opposite in this direction. Home Cincinnati, I think they lose that game.
Yep.
No,
I think we win.
I think this is the year it reverts.
I'm with
Reese. I do not.
I think our defense is better than Cincinnati's defense this year. So I just don't see.
We'll see. I mean,
our defense will get more stops than their defense to get against ours.
I don't know. Will our defense be able to get any stops against a high-powered offense? Because they didn't do that very well last year.
Yeah, but you also were playing with a Von Miller, no Milano. Your cornerback situation was up in the air, and so was your safety position. So I see what you're saying because history says that. But if you're going to compare the teams, you got to remove the names off the offense. You got to look at both teams as a whole. And right now, their defense is shot. That's why they couldn't win no games last year. And they haven't really had to draft everybody this year.
The last time we played Cincinnati, they kicked our teeth in.
They had a good defense.
I don't see. No, but we couldn't.
I remember our last game against them.
It was the playoff game.
Yeah,
it was the playoff game. We didn't play them last season. No, we didn't play them last year, and they ended our season 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, we're not going to be able to stop them. I'm completely with Sean on this one. McDermott is not this defensive wizard that everybody makes him out to be. The Bills
fire McDermott.
The Bills offense, I don't think the Bills offense is going to cost them anything. I think the Bills defense is going to cost them. The Bills defense is what cost them every single time. I mean, you scored, what was the final score of that Chiefs AFC game?
Which one?
The AFC Championship game that we lost.
Oh, I'll tell you 1 second.
What about a touchdown, right? Something like that? Or was it a field goal?
32-29 was the final score. Every other game in the season, the Chiefs barely got over 20 points, but somehow we let them get to 32. We were the only team that let them get to 32. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you got to take into account that we were running with a tired defense. I mean, a bunch of
I'm not taking anything into account. I think the Bills defense.
You can't ignore it. You had Micah Hyde, whose injury was injured that season. You had Poyer, who was injured that season. Milano was injured that season. You didn't have anybody.
No,
honestly, think about it. That was the DeMar Hamlin season. We were set to beat them during that Monday night game.
Yeah,
we were going back and forth until DeMar Hamlin got hurt. And then
you're giving way too much
in the playoffs, and all the wind was out of our sails. That was the most emotional season that team's ever played.
Yeah, and that season died when DeMar did.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're giving way too much credit to McDermott. I'm sorry. I think McDermott is not a good coach. I mean, say what you want about him. I think any coach, and this is going to piss off a lot of these Bills homers that are out there, who are like, oh well, where would they be without McDermott? Hey, I'm happy dude won that he got us out of the drought, but I'm sorry. Anybody with Josh Allen right now would be great. I mean, Josh Allen is a friggin' unicorn, and I'm sorry. Dude's specialty is supposed to be defense, and we have been bad on defense for the last 2 years.
For
Unacceptable.
Sean McDermott, when is just getting to the playoffs and making it to like the championship game, when is that enough though? I mean, at the end of the day, as fans, I think we need to want more than just that. Like, we can't always be the bridesmaid. We need to, at some point, win. And I don't think McDermott can take them over that hump.
But there's
Sean wants to be a bride one day.
I do. I think I'd make a beautiful bride.
I think you would too.
But there's some context with all that, though, too. I mean, if you're going to blame Kermit, you got to blame Bean too. Bean, they've been diverting so much currency to that defensive line and not getting a return on it. This is the first year they've actually made a pointed effort in the draft to do something with that defense. I mean, they have to, and also in free agency too. So I'm not going to say that they're going to lose to the Bengals just because of history. I think that they're going to lose to the Bengals is because of injuries on our team.
The Bengals are weird too, because if the Bengals can figure out their defense at the beginning of the season next year, and they come out looking like they did at the end of last year's season, the Bengals I think could be a team to be reckoned with.
Well, no, absolutely. You're never going to argue that just because of who they have in their offense. But simply put, they were getting their asses kicked last year because they couldn't stop nobody. They were losing the teams they shouldn't have even lost to.
The Bengals almost made the playoffs though with the way they turned it around. I mean, that the Kansas City doesn't rest their starters in that final game. Cincinnati turned it around enough that they would have made the playoffs.
See, it's that whataboutism. I keep telling you, you got to stop doing that. It didn't happen.
No, so that's not the point I'm making. I agree.
But you want to, but you want to,
turnaround they made.
You want to talk about stat. You want to talk about, forget the whataboutism. You want to just talk about raw stats, though. Like, how many games and how many teams last year scored over 30 points on us? And Josh Allen had to put on his, like, Superman cape in order to have us win. I mean, it was outrageous. It was outrageous. That very first game of the season against Arizona, the Bills came out and they looked flat and they looked ridiculous. And Josh Allen had to put on a Herculean effort for us to come back and win that game. The Baltimore game, we got blown out. The Rams game, we couldn't have a stop. The Lions game, they almost came back and won that game. The Chiefs game in the playoffs. I mean, come on, both Chiefs games. Like, we can't stop anybody. Yeah, we can stop these middling garbage teams, but we can't stop any of these good teams. But then you've got the Eagles and the Ravens and the Chiefs, and these teams have no problem stopping each other. I mean,
and
the fact is that our defense is now changed. We're not running that same defensive scheme. Last year was a turnover season for that defense. We've been begging to have a cornerback that can play man against these speedy receivers. Now they're doing that this year. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt this year because they have a whole new defense and a whole new scheme. So I'm going to benefit of the fact that we're going to see something different this year that other teams haven't played against, just because of the talent that we have on defense now.
Keep in mind too that if Cincinnati has a defense and they win a game or two more, Joe Burrow is probably your MVP last year and not Josh Allen.
Okay, but again, what about ism? What about it? They lost though.
Burrow's numbers were better than Allen's.
It doesn't matter.
You can't hold that. You can't hold
that. Better than Mahomes. He's been better than what's face up there in Baltimore, Lamar, and they all got MVPs over him with better stats. But him having better stats. So let's not say that stats have everything to do with MVP.
That's why I said if their defense shows up one more game.
With Burrow throwing the ball over the field. So what difference does it make? How are you MVP still losing 8 games?
It's so weird to hear you defend McDermott, Reese.
No, I'm not defending McDermott. What I'm defending is the context.
I'm just kidding.
It's the context. You got to put that in perspective. I mean, you can't keep guys on the field. So it's hard to run a defense when you can't keep guys on the field. And the one thing I could push back against McDermott is stop trying to get these small defensive players. And he's changed that this year. They've got big guys to play in the middle, which is what you need in a nickel defense.
And the boneheaded decisions he makes with time management, Jesus.
Well, so do they agree.
Let's move on then. So Saints at home.
Oh, so what do we end with that?
Well, we're split. I mean, Sean and I think loss, you guys think win. So we're split on that one.
All right.
Saints
Another
at home.
tie.
I think Saints at home is an easy win. I
Big
think
W.
per our power rankings, we all kind of think the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
Taysom
So
Hill's going to come in and score a touchdown, but then we're going to win.
yeah, there's the Bills are going to be like a 14-point favorite for this Saints game. Easy. I don't know if they'll cover, but I think the Bills win comfortably by 10 points or more.
Well, the Saints historically are terrible on the road.
Yeah.
Historically. They do not play well outside of that stadium. So you're going to come to Buffalo, and depending what time of year it's in, I mean, I'm hoping if it's not in the beginning of the season, it's probably going to be around, late November. Get them up here in the cold, and they're going to really be really bad at that point. Not that we even need the cold to beat them, but historically, they're just not good. It's not a good road team. Most dome teams aren't great on the road. I mean,
They're dome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be. I mean, it's 2 days. You thought the Miami game was hard? If they didn't have a dome on that stadium in New Orleans, people would die on the field. As hot as it gets in New Orleans.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why a lot of people are mad at Miami. Miami needs to put a dome over that stadium, especially for the early half of the season.
Yeah.
People are dying on the field when they go up there, and they don't do anything to help.
Paul, you
Paulie,
got
did
anything to add?
Here or?
Yeah. Miami 2-0.
Saints.
Oh, Saints. Yes, that's a 1-0 game. That's one of those games that team goes in just want to end up the week 1-0.
Yeah. All right. Bucks at home. This is tough. This is a tough one.
I'm going to say loss.
I'm glad it's at home.
Yeah, but I'm going to say loss.
I think it's going to be a close win.
I like the over in this game. I'm going to I'm leaning loss, but I like the bet. I like the it's probably going to be 52 to 54 points, and I like the over.
I think they're going to win by 2.
2?
Yeah. It's going to be a missed field goal. Or not, a missed extra point, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. That's the only home game that I think that's probably unpredictable just because we got to pick that one game where the Bills seem to just fumble. and I think that if I'm going to pick a team, it's going to be that one.
Yeah.
If I didn't think Cincinnati was going to beat them, I would say Tampa, but I think they win the Tampa game.
All right, that takes us to Chiefs at home. Polly, Chiefs at home.
Us.
Wow. Wow, 2.
I think we win.
I think we win too.
I think this is the year that it flip-flops. I think this is the year where the Bills lose in the regular season and finally get over the hump and beat them in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, the law of averages, you're right, Sean, because we've done this before. We lost to them at home. We lost to them during the season and in the playoffs. We also beat them during the season and lost to them in the playoffs. I mean, the only thing that way, losing to them in the playoffs. So, yeah, I like it. I like it. I hope so.
I don't know. I've seen this movie too many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd just like to beat them twice. That'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
It would be.
Us.
I'd like to ideally just not play them in the playoffs. That would be fantastic.
That would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I don't want to hear, because you want to win that game no matter what, right? So you end up winning that game. That game is usually mid to late season. And then the next day you turn on the TV. Well, can they do it in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear it.
I could just hear your boy Nick Wright.
Yeah, you hear that absolute Hulbert, Nick Wright, running his mouth about,
not even him though. It's everybody.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. If we win that game, that regular season game, and it's gonna be everybody.
Oh, it is.
It's not gonna be just Nick Wright. It'll be Stephen A. It'll be everybody.
And let's be honest, we haven't proven for them not to say it.
I know. I'm just airing my grievance ahead of time. Because I know it's going to happen. I know there's no way to stop that from happening because we haven't.
I'm completely bulletproof against all the talking heads when they say it now because it doesn't bother me anymore because haven't proven we can do it. We've proven them right over and over again.
Right. My dog is in the back there and he hears me.
Eagles at home. Loss.
Win.
Whoa. I like your enthusiasm, Paul. I like your enthusiasm.
I don't see it. I think this is going to be not our fluky loss. I think this is going to be our ugly loss of the year. I
don't think it's going to be ugly. I think we're going to have to try to play from behind in this one. And I just don't think we're going to have enough in the tank to get through that defense to get the winning touchdown in the end.
I mean, the Baltimore game was our ugly loss last year. It was 35-10 was the final in that game. I have a feeling the Bills just aren't going to have any answers for this team, and I think that this team is going to run it up on us.
I like how it's kind of reversed when you bring up Baltimore, how it's kind of reversed. They're like us in Kansas City, really, where we will lose to them in the regular season, but beat their asses in the playoffs.
Yeah,
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's what
they can't get past the Bills in the playoffs. They're the mountain. We're the mountain that they can't climb.
Yep. Yeah, man, don't forget what a couple of seasons ago. Remember that game where they blew against us? They were like 28-10 at the half, and then all of a sudden we came back and beat them at the end of the game.
It was in Baltimore, right?
We are their Achilles heel, but Philly's a different animal. It's hard for me to compare. I think the way they run their offense is exactly how they should be running it in Baltimore, but they don't. There's no balance in Baltimore because you can't throw the ball all that well with that team. I mean, they focus on their tight ends more than anything. It's hard for them to get the ball to receivers because Lamar's not that good at reading the field down. He's not reading the ball down the field. So that's the difference between Philly and Baltimore. They're very similar teams. It's just the difference is Philly runs their offense how it should be ran with the type of quarterback they have. And Lamar is that same quarterback. They just don't run it right. They just continually hammer with the ball.
I mean, and I think all across the board, except for quarterback, I think Philly is a better roster than us from top to bottom, except for quarterback. Philly's a way better roster than us. Better receivers, better running back, similar O-line, way better defense.
I think the Bills
honestly, I'm going to like the over in this one. I think this one's going to be a high-scoring game.
I think it's going to be high-scoring on the Bills side.
No, it's going to be both. It's going to be a shootout.
I think the Bills are going to come out there. I think the Bills are going to blow them out. I think this is going to be the surprise of the season.
It's going to be I mean, that always happens too, where there's this one game where everybody's just kind of like, oh shit, are the Bills like the best team in the league? This could be that instance as well, where like they beat them and the Bills are all of a sudden like, 6-1 or something like that when it happens. Because this is absolutely going to be a night game wherever this happens. If it's the Sunday night game or the Monday night game. Yeah, or Christmas. I don't know if they're going to want to wait. I don't know if they're going to want to wait that long for this one, though. This is a juicy game.
I mean, listen. I'll be honest with you. I would not be shocked if Bills and Philly was a Monday night game, second game of the season.
Really?
Yeah, because Philly's got the opener at home.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be Philly on Monday night that following week.
All right. So Steelers on the road. Win.
Absolutely. Oh, wait. Let me not jump too soon.
Here we go.
Now the Steelers, man,
Steelers apologist over here.
Honestly, I think it's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, the Bills tend to struggle in Pittsburgh historically.
Even when Pittsburgh comes here, that game's a struggle.
Yeah, it's just something that just how every team has that one team. I mean, outside of the Kansas City stuff, historically the Bills and the Pittsburgh for some reason just likes to kick our asses at the most inopportune times.
I'm just going to state once again for the record, we should be in that division.
I agree.
I've been saying it since they realigned. Buffalo should be in the north. Baltimore should be in the east.
But hey, I'll take the AFC East right now.
So the Bills have since Josh Allen, the Bills are 4-1 against the Steelers.
Right, but the thing is, how many times you played them in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, true.
Three,
Once,
two.
once, and the Bills won that game.
That was the Sunday night game that
It's
Josh
2000, it
like.
was two, no, it was 2019
Yeah,
was the last home game in Pittsburgh, and it was right around Christmas time.
yeah, it was
Seven,
Sunday night. It got flexed.
17 to 10 was the final of that one. It's a little sore.
17-10. See, they struggle.
That was 2019, though. I mean,
Yeah, but if
since
you
then,
look at it historically, the Bills always historically Pittsburgh just is not a place that we're great at. It's on paper. We're just not good there.
the last two times we played Pittsburgh was in 24 and 22, and we scored 31 and 38. We beat them 38-3 2 years ago.
Wasn't Pittsburgh the team that Allen had that run where he faked the slide and then ended up going for like 70 yards?
I remember that
So.
one of them was the one where Gabe Davis scored that 99-yard touchdown.
Oh, I
That
remember
was-
that game. Like the second play of the game,
Yeah,
the
Gabe
first or
Davis.
second play of the game. Yeah,
Yeah, Gabe Davis went for 99 yards on like one of the like most ridiculous plays of the game. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think they win that one.
All right. Atlanta on the road.
I think that's a win.
Hold on. Before we move on, historically, the Bills currently in Pittsburgh, historically, they're 11-15 in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they lost a lot.
11-15.
Yeah, because they lost a lot there during the drought when
We lost there. No. We lost during the 90s with the Super Bowl seasons. We got our asses kicked multiple times by them in Boston and Pittsburgh. I remember watching those games. I had to turn games off. They were so bad. And we had the number one team in the league, and we were getting our asses kicked by them in Pittsburgh.
I remember the one time in that '90s in the Jim Kelly era that we played them in the playoffs. It was a week after the wild card, the comeback game. We had to go to Pittsburgh after that, and I remember being scared. And probably Bobby Brister was their quarterback at the time, I believe.
Yeah.
And I remember being scared going into that game because the Bills weren't playing their best football towards the end of that season. And people were, that's why the game wasn't sold out. That's why the comeback game wasn't sold out. They sucked that year.
So
I don't know. I mean, the Bills beat them every single time from 86 to 93, and then onward from like 94 to 99, they lost a lot. But that was kind of after the Super Bowl years.
I apologize that I don't have the memory of you old guys when it comes to those early 90s games.
I'm just looking at a database right here. So.
Like, you need to put up that old man yells at cloud meme.
Oh my God! All right, so Atlanta on the road.
And we'll beat them.
That's a W.
No, anytime you put Josh in the dome, I'm taking Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Atlanta is just a dumpster fire of a team too. I mean,
yeah. Carolina on the road.
I think that's what we opened the season with, and I think it's a win.
I do too.
I agree.
I mean, Carolina started to turn it around.
That we played them on the road maybe the opening game of the season on the road in Carolina.
Yeah, I think
Carolina,
it's a nice safe.
Carolina
game.
started to figure it out towards the end of the season last year. I mean, they took Kansas City to the wire, and Bryce Young sort of started to figure it out. But I don't think that team has nothing on them. Like their defense isn't good. They have like no receiver threats. I don't think that they, barring the Bills coming out and absolutely laying an egg, I don't think that Carolina has a chance in that game.
I'll tell you one thing. You know what is going to happen in that game though? Chuba's going to have like 175-yard touchdown run in that game. Because that always happens. That always happens when we play a bad team with a good running back. That's absolute. Mark my words. There will be Chuba's going to take the over on Chuba's rushing yards for that game. It's going to happen on one play.
That's Mike's prediction for that particular game.
Yeah.
Paulie, you'd say win there.
Yeah, Paulie. Yeah, win. Cleveland on the road.
Loss. No, I can't. That's a win.
Sean, you're fired.
That's a complete blowout. That's a game on is a blowout game.
Hold on. It's going to be the Shadur Sanders coming out game. And we're going to light his ass up.
I don't think he sees the field this year.
Well, I mean, who are their quarterback prospects? Flacco, Sanders. There's two
That,
more, right?
that other kid they drafted.
Remember, they made a promise to Myles Garrett by
What did
signing
they What did they promise him?
a championship.
The fact
That's
that
what
he
he said he
believed.
want. That's what he said he wanted, and then
Yeah.
they signed him. So they convinced him that they're going to go for a championship.
The
No,
fact
no.
that he
Flacco
believes them.
starting at quarterback.
Listen, when you add another zero to that check, you can
Yeah.
convince anybody to stay.
Yeah. No, actually, I don't think Flacco's going to start. I think Kenny Pickett's going to start.
Oh yeah, Pickett's the other one.
Because
Yeah.
if you think about it, I mean, Miles, if he wanted to leave, he would have. It didn't matter how much money they were going to give him. He knows they're not winning a Super Bowl. Everyone in the world knows they're not going to win a Super Bowl. If he thinks that they're going to convince him that they're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 or 4 seasons, he's an idiot.
Well,
It had everything to do with adding a zero to that check. That's all it was.
Mike, take into account that the real deal actually played pretty well for Cleveland last year. So
I mean, for a couple of games against bad teams, and then he got figured out pretty quick, and then they benched his ass. So I don't know. The other kid is Dorian Thompson Robinson was the kid they drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders.
does
So
Sanders even make that team? Do they carry three quarterbacks?
I don't know.
Well, somebody's going to go on a practice squad, obviously. I think they won the season with 3 quarterbacks. Again, they don't know because they have no quarterback right now. So the natural thing to do is go with 3. You put one. Shadur will probably be on practice squad. I mean,
How do you justify take dropping that kid you drafted before Shadur?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he gets to start before Shadur does.
Oh my God, Dion's going to lose his mind if Shadur ends up on the practice squad. It's going to be a meltdown for the ages.
Yeah, because it'd be for an NFL professional team to have 2 rookie quarterbacks as backups.
Yeah,
makes no sense at all.
no.
Yeah, completely agree.
So we all blow out for that though.
Yeah, yeah. Last game away, Houston, revenge game from last year.
I think that's a win.
Why are we playing them at home at their field again? I don't understand that. Why are we playing them there again?
It's the same reason we're playing Kansas City at home again.
Yeah, but we're old that. I mean, how many times we played like 3 straight seasons in Kansas City?
That's how it happens, Reese. That's how the schedules. I mean, that's how it's pre-made. We know who we're playing next year.
I know.
Players.
It's just like,
but
it's just annoying.
It's the way it happens.
It's always 2 random teams.
Yeah. All right, guys. Final thoughts on the schedule.
Well, if you ask me, I think we're going to probably go. It'd probably be another 13-4 season.
I agree. 13-4. If they get lucky, maybe 14-3. Mm-hmm. But I don't think anything higher than that. I don't see them winning 15 or 6 or going 16.
15-2.
Really?
Just because Sean said that. Sean said that. I'm going 15-2.
No, it hurts.
That's my only reason.
Yeah, I'm leaning like 12-5 right now.
That's a lie for Paulie. They can't go 15-2. They have to have a tie in there.
Oh, that's true, Paulie.
Okay, 15-1-1.
All right, guys, that's our list. Thank you so much for that. We're going to go ahead and we'll have a full review of when the schedule comes out, and we'll actually do a full win-loss for it at that point. Thank you guys so much for watching the video along with us. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I've been Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill, Mr. T. Reese, and our guest, Mr. Paulie B. here, is going to be making much more appearances during the NFL season. So thank you guys so much. Have a great evening and take care.